Hello everyone, in this video we will see how to create a Google Classroom and also what are the different options and settings that are available for a teacher which can be done in a particular class. So you can see on the top right there's a plus button. I click on the plus button, you get two options, join class and create class. So I go for creating a particular class, so I click on create class. So here since you are using a personal account, it tells that your school must sign up for a free G Suite account before you can use Classroom. So G Suite for Education is free for all the schools which has their own website and other domains, whereas it also tells that the G Suite for Education lets what and all services that we can give it to students, or whether we want to restrict some services or not, and what are the additional privacies and securities which are available in a G Suite account. So in case if a school has a G Suite for Education account, it is always better to create a Google Classroom using that account, because you get a lot more features and lot more facilities, and even your space is also unlimited when it is compared to your personal account. Why? Because in the personal account you get a maximum 15 GB of space which can be used for your entire Google services, including a Gmail, Classroom and all those things, whereas in the case of G Suite for Education it is completely free. And if you don't have a G Suite for Education account, don't worry, we can go on creating a classroom with the same account. So I put a tick mark on this. I have read and understood the above notice, and I am not using Classroom at School for Students, so I just click on continue. So this is the first pop-up window which we have to fill to create a class. So you can see there are different options like class name, section, subject and room. We have to be very careful when you give a class name. Why? Because the class name is the one which a teacher as well as the student uses to identify a particular class. So for a teacher might be handling only one subject for a set of students, whereas for a student he or she might have 5 to 6 classes, or it may be more than or less than that, depending on the number of subjects and number of labs which they have for that particular semester or for that particular year. So when a teacher gives a name, that name should be the one which is identifiable for the student as well as teachers. So for example, I am teaching science for the class 4 and the section is B. So what I can do is that I can type it directly. I can type it as science, and it is a best habit to give all these details in the name itself. So science, then I give 4 hyphen B hyphen. I can also mention the year of which I am taking this particular class, or you can mention the academic year. So I mention it as 2020-21. So in this way, if you give, it will be easy for the students also, because student can identify, okay, this class is for the science subject and he is from 4B, so no problem, remaining things he don't have to worry about. But for a teacher, this name is very useful. Why? Because being a teacher, I might take a science subject for a different class. Maybe I take it for 5th standard or 6th standard or 3rd standard. And also one more possibility is that next year if I am taking the same subject, I will not get confused with that. Why? Because I have mentioned the academic year. So that is one best practice which we can use while creating a class name. The remaining section, subject and room are not mandatory, those are optional. So if you want to enter that, again you can enter it. So section, I mention it as section B section. Subject, again if required you can mention that particular subjects. You can see different subjects are coming there, so if you want to mention, you can mention that. And if you take the class in the same lecture hall or the same room, and if that room is having a number, I can mention that also. So this much I give, and I click on create. So when you click on create, you can see there is a little bit of time which takes place. It is not because your internet is slow or something. Why? Because when you create a Google Classroom, automatically in the background in the Google Drive, a classroom folder will be created. So inside the classroom folder, automatically whatever name I had given, for example I had given, so here I had given science 4B 2021. So in the same name there will be another folder created in the drive. So I can just go and check that. So I click on new tab, I go to drive, so drive.google.com. so when I open Google Drive, you can see automatically a classroom is being created. So I click on classroom, you see science 4B 2021 is created. So I open this, right? So this is a folder where all the materials what you post in the classroom comes. So automatically this folder is being created by the Google Drive. So that is why initially when you open a particular or create a particular class, it takes some time. So it is showing that what is new in classroom. So get ready for the school year. See student grade for all the assignments on the grade page. So we have a grade page here. Test drive, rubrics, originality report, and SAS, all those things can be done, and customize your stream and can do that also. Okay, so I click on got it. So this is the initial page of your Google Class. So it is same like your Facebook page where you have a stream, where you have a particular timeline where you have all those things. So this stream is a main page. You have a tab for classwork. So this is where you create assignment, quiz assignment, questions, materials you post, can reuse a post, multiple topics can be created, there are peoples can be added. So you can see we can add students as well as teachers, and you can see the grades of the students also. So this is a general Google Classroom page. So since we have created the classroom first, so what we will do is we have to do a small setting changes in the notifications. So to access that, you can see on the top left there is a main menu. These 3 lines are there. I click on that, I scroll down, you can see there is a settings option. So I click on settings. Now I come down, you can see something called as notifications. So this notification, what happens is whatever you do in a classroom, for all these things by default you get lot of emails. So this emails can be restricted. So I can decide whether I should get an email notification or not. So by default it is on, so I just close this. So when you close this or when you disable it, what happens is you will not get any email notification for any of the things what you are doing. But otherwise, if you have a Google Classroom app, you'll be able to get the notification there rather than getting emails. Otherwise, most of the time for most of the teachers, what happens is we will not think there is something called as a notification. So for each and everything what we do, we get notification. So we will just see what are the notifications what we get. So first notification is comment. So for example, you post a comment. If somebody comments on your particular post, what happens is you get a notification. So I don't want that, I can disable it. Next, comment that mention you. For example, somebody comments, and in that particular comment, if somebody mentions your name, whether you want to get an email for that. So I don't want that, so I keep it close. And if I do a particular work or something, and somebody privately comments on my particular work or privately comment on that, should I get an email or not? So this is for the comments which I get as I am a student or even as a teacher also, right? So this is applicable for both teacher and student. The next part is applicable only for the teacher for the classes you teach. So late submission of student work. For example, if somebody submits a assignment late, whether you want to get a notification. So if you want to get that, I can keep it off or on. So I don't want that, I can keep it closed. If some student resubmits a work, should I get an email notification or not? So if you want to get an email notification for that, you can keep it on. Invitation to co-teach classes. So another teacher creates a class, and if he or she invites you as a co-teacher, whether you want to get an email notification. So I keep it on. And schedule post published or fail. For example, I can schedule the post or assignment or all those things can be scheduled and kept. So when it gets published, should I get a notification or not is the last one. So that also, if you want, you can keep it on. Next, you can see you can set the class notifications. For each class you can set the notification. For example, there may be multiple classes. When you create, there will be different classes whatever you have created. So for each class I can decide whether I should get a notification or not. So you see, turn email and mobile notification on or off for a class. So if I keep it on, I get all the email and mobile notification as per this particular list. If I keep it on for this class, Science 4B 2021, I will not get any notifications or email. So in that way also there is a flexibility for the teacher. So I come back to my class. So I click on that main menu there, I click on classes. So this is the page where I can access my classroom. So I click on this. So here you can see, before clicking, the name of the class, the section, and how many students have joined is what a teacher will see. A teacher can actually change the theme. If you want, you can select a theme. So I click on select theme. There are many more themes which are available. So whichever theme you like, you just click and select. So the theme get changed there. There is one more setting option which is available, which is particular to a class. The previous notification what you have seen, that is for the entire Google Classroom, but this settings is specifically for this class, that is Science 4B. I click on that, sorry. So again you can see those details which are filled first, all those details are there. If you want to make any changes, you can always do that. If you want to give a description to the class also, you can do it. Okay. Next there is an important thing, that is something called as a class code. So class code is the one which can be used by teachers to invite students to a class. So for each class there will be a particular class code. So class code, one option is you can see it here, or you can see your class code right here itself. So that is one more thing. If you want to display this class code to the students, I click on display, it will be shown in full screen where students can take down this particular class code. This can be done when you are physically doing this process in the classroom, where you have a projector and you can project it on the screen. Otherwise I just close this, I come back to the settings here, I click on settings. Okay. So telling about the class code. So class code is one easy way in which teachers can invite students to the classroom. So a teacher can share this class code to students, and the students will be able to join the particular class by using a class code. So how a student can join by using a class code, we will see it in another video. Okay, so the thing which we have to remember is, when I share a class code, anybody who is having a Gmail account will be able to join my class as a student. So there are some issues which are related to that. For example, I share this class code by using WhatsApp or any other means to my students. If anybody else who come across this particular classroom who is not a part of my class or who is not my student, will be able to access this. So that is one particular limitation. Why? Because when the students join the particular classroom, we will be seeing the names what they have given for their profiles. It is not the actual names what we have in our nominal roll or the attendance. So that is one more issue which teachers will face. So whenever you create a classroom, you can ask with your students to create a separate email account in case if they want, which gives the proper name of the student. So if they don't do that, it will be difficult for a teacher to track. Okay, so that is one thing. The best thing what teachers can do it, one option is this is to share a class code, but as I told, there are some problems when we share the class code. There are chances that other people also will join your class. What you can do is you can disable this, and you can invite the student by using email IDs. So email ID of a student can be collected by multiple ways, either by sending a Google form to them and asking them to fill that, or even in the WhatsApp group or something. If you have a class group, you can ask the students to key in their email IDs. So that is one way. So disabling class code is one best way. Otherwise, if you are pretty sure that the students are your own members, you can give the class code to them. Once everybody join, you can disable and keep. Next is the stream. So stream was the first page which I have seen for the Google Classroom. So who can post in a particular stream? So there are multiple options. Student can post and comment. When you give this option, all the students as well as teachers will be having the privileges to post the materials or post the contents or to comment on all those things. That's the first option. Second option is students can only comment, where posting will be done by the teachers. A new post can be added by a teacher, whereas students will be able to only comment to that. The last one is teachers can post or comment. So this options, if you give, only teacher will be the active person in the class. For example, only teacher can post anything, and even commenting also is only possible by a teacher. Most of the time what happens is we teachers first initially sometimes we go for this option, but what happens, I post a material, and if a student is having a doubt or something to be cleared, he will not be able to comment on this. So this options you can decide which one to keep. So the best option which I prefer is you can go for any first two options. Either student can post or comment, or students can only comment. It depends on the teachers. Then you have an option for the classwork on the stream. So what type of notification should be shown, whether the notification should have attachments and details should be shown, or it should be a condensed notification, or it should be hiding the notification. So whatever you want, you can keep. The best way is showing attachments and details in the stream itself. Will be able to see. The next option is show deleted items. So in case if a teacher posts something and deletes it, or a student posts a particular comment and he or she deletes it, if a teacher enables this, the teacher will be able to see. We can see only teacher can view the deleted item. So if I enable this, if somebody posts something by mistake and deletes or something, the teacher will be always able to check this. So that is one option. The other option is grading and calculation. So here we can set what type of grading you are going to give, whether it is an overall grade or total point or weightage by category. And we can also show overall grade to students if you want the students to see all the grades. So I click on total points, I can enable this. And if you want to add some grade category, you can do that. So I click on add grade category, so you can see what category can be given and for each category how much is the points. So for time being I will not give any grade here, I just close this. And once I am done with all these things, I click on save. So these are the initial steps when you do or when you create a particular class. In the next video we will see how to add materials to the class, or how to create assignments or question, how to add people to your classes, and also we will see how to see the grades and how to make use of it. If you want to watch tutorials on a particular tool, kindly comment below. Also, if you want to watch all the videos on multiple tools available, kindly subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.